everyone, it's Stella, and in the last video we built this huge train station, finished off the terraforming on our mega volcano, and added some finishing touches to our slime farm area. But today, I want to show you this ink farm. This is the ink farm. Well, until Stella done goofed. I cut the chunks. That was a smart idea. It was a great idea. At one stage, this was the end of our ink farm. And well, it looks like I may have cut them a little too close to where the farm actually needs us to be. So we need to come ahead and drain out all this area. We're going to be making a huge dock and make some custom terrain up on this side as well. And we are going to be putting in a very vibrant and beautiful temple slash building in this area. But first and foremost, we need to start with the terraforming. We need to bring down this whole area. We also need to cut in a section of this area to add in a cactus farm because we are going to be wanting to get 2 different materials from this area. Firstly, we're going to want cactus. Secondly, we want the ink farm to be working again because black dye is extremely difficult to get otherwise. We're also going to be wanting to create docks and boats and everything, so this is probably going to take a few series for us to get under our way, but let's start right now. So just checking in, and we're about halfway through building up the initial part of this cactus farm. This is only going to be 1/2. So we're going to be duplicating this onto the other side. So we are going to be spending a bit more time doing this. But so far we are getting quite a bit of cactus, and this is perfect because I have yet to have any type of cactus farm in this world. Well, I mean, I had one, and it was a little bit of a joke. This is definitely about 15 times, if not 20 times, bigger than this. I thought that this would be a good point to get the cactus farm built first and then build the rest of the build. So that way we can have plenty of cactus being loaded in at the time that we're building everything, and we should have lots and lots and lots of green dye for the future, which is perfect because up until now, I've been struggling to keep up blue, cyan, green, and lime dyes in this world. But I will be back in a little bit. We'll get this other half sorted out, and hopefully then we can actually start laying out the initial foundation for this build. And with a quick little boop, we have a full cactus farm and a storage area. No, so we've gone ahead and added in the last of the layers here so that we have the full farm done at this point. It is just a simple farm. If you guys don't know, cactus grow up, and if there is a block beside it, it will break off. So that is how we've done it. We've just got the iron bars above this on the second level above the cactus, and it just grows up, pops off, and then goes into the water streams, up the bubble elevator, and straight in to the chests. So far we've already got 44 cactus, and I've only just really started dealing with this system. I flew down, went and slept, and came back, and we already got 44 cactus. I feel like our green dye bottleneck is definitely over. But that means we actually have to get into the rest of the building for today. And get away from the digging. Stella, stop digging. So one of the things I have been coming up against whilst thinking about how to do this build is the fact that we were going to have to drain a lot of water. This is a lot of water. We have drained some before in an ocean monument project, and I'm not really wanting to do that again, to be honest. But I did a little bit of research into the spawns of squid. Now, squid cannot spawn if there is a block above them, and I believe that may include glass. So we should be able to place blue glass, which would be very similar to the color of the ocean, and on the top varied layer. But that will prevent us from having to drain out the ocean. It doesn't need to be an incredibly fast farm by any means, but that will help add a whole lot less work into this project. And for that, I would be extremely grateful. So this is our squid farm at the moment. I've had to lower the render distance all the way down to 2 chunks because at the moment all these squiddy boys are actually spawning in the ocean, which is the current issue with the spawn rates. So what I am going to do is test, because we've got all of these squid that are spawning in, swimming in between the water columns and then falling. So what I'm going to do, I've got the blue glass in front of me, and I am going to go up the top of this, cap it with the glass, and then we're going to see if we can complete this test again and see if we have any spawns coming through. As you can see, there's quite a few at the moment. The blue glass is in. I've done it most of the way, but I wanted to allow us a couple of rows just so that we could confirm that it is the glass and not just some freak weirdness that is stopping the spawns. And this this is why I wanted to test it first. If I was correct, only the guys over this side should be spawning, and these guys should not be spawning. Alas, my thought process did not work. This is all part of the trial and error for someone who is just a casual game player and not really a technical player by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, and there's a Bob. That's fantastic. Because this is easier to show you guys on the map, I decided to show you guys what this is going to be looking like. At the moment, we have the circle here that is the despawn sphere for the ink farm, in which we need to drain all of the water around this edge. So what I am thinking is we're going to have a rocky mountain along this side, potentially a bridge that comes back towards our spawn area, and we're going to be having a very long and quite complex docks port along this side. But now that we have a way in which we are going to be starting this, let's jump straight into the building. A few days of recording behind the scenes, and we have the start of this area really starting to come together. We have now added in the balcony or the structure to prevent us from falling off the side of the port. We've added in some stairs, and now we are starting to work our way on to the basic area up here. This will be the walkway that leads us up to the palace temple-y type of machine go. I don't know what we're going to call it. It's fine. We will come up with a name at some point in the future. We've got a pool here. I kind of base this off the Taj Mahal, like the lead up to the temple. So I thought I wanted to go with a little bit of a blue theme. So we've got some blue concrete down the bottom there, and we're going to be making some custom trees on here. The next part of this is the part that I am definitely gonna hate, and I definitely said only in like yesterday's stream that I was never gonna do this again. Pastella, you should have kept that promise. But we're gonna be creating two mosaics, one on this side and one on the other. They are gonna be identical, and we're gonna be going for a white and quartz theme, I feel like, again. I am also procrastinating on draining the water because I'm hoping that with a bit of smarts, I can get away without having to drain any of the water. It may be a little bit slower, but we won't have to do the draining. That's a plus in my opinion. Which is by covering the whole area that is in this circle with blocks. Now, there is a squid there. I am not sure exactly where that squid boy got in from, but that could have come in from outside of the covered area. But I believe that squid need sky access to be able to spawn, which means that we would be able to prevent the squid from being able to spawn. So that's a good thing. However, the other thing is we need to make sure that the actual farm that is over here doesn't, or has the ability to not have, or does the ability to have sky access, sorry. So I am probably gonna have to do some more testing. But with that, I've got to jump in and start doing some of this mosaic work. So the mosaic is starting to come together. We now have the full part of the mosaic done, and we need to just copy this over to the other side now. I end up changing up the design a little bit. It wasn't exactly the way that I wanted it to, but let me show you guys a overview. So in FreeCam, you guys can get a better idea of what the mosaic looks like on the floor. We're going to be adding some trees around the outside and another walkway on the top of here, but that is going to take a little bit longer. We are not ready yet to complete today's video. We will be having to do the other side as well. So let's get right into doing the second one for today. Pausing up the top here, you can see we have both mosaics done now. We also have the start of the grassway coming around the mosaic. We still need to work on the other side. I unfortunately didn't have enough time to finish up this side before I started streaming yesterday. Stellar Gaming over on twitch.tv, and we have almost got the first part of this build done, but we're actually going to take a detour. I have been working on a Valentine's Day build here in the world. We had Valentine's Day just yesterday or the day before, depending on where you are in the world, and we decided that we were going to make a cocoa bean farm over at this little island a little bit further out, and we're going to show you guys that right now. You guys may have remembered in the last episode we were working on the slime farm build all the way over there, and then this is where the Valentine's Day build has come into. We have been going with a pink to purple gradient palette, and I am absolutely loving the way that this ended up turning out. I have turned my render distance all the way up so you guys could see kind of in reference to the world where the current build is. But this is what we ended up coming up with. It is based upon an Instagram photo that I saw, and I absolutely loved it. It was a drawing, and I will leave a link down in below to the drawing itself so you guys can see what this was inspired of. But we have done everything. We have even got the back of the build done, which I know for a lot of people is a bit of a shock and horror, but the back of the build is done as well. And we are going to be working on getting in the trees in today's episode. So we're going to be putting in some magenta and some purple trees. And yesterday on Twitter, the Mojang Minecraft Twitter page announced that we are getting cherry blossom trees, and I am so excited. I cannot wait for 1.20 now. We are going to be expanding in this area. We're also going to be adding in a bunch of new cherry trees over at the creeper farm. If you guys remember way back when there was a creeper farm episode, and we are going to be changing out the trees there. But I'm super excited. I cannot wait for 1.20 and hopefully all of the new cool and amazing features that are coming. 2 new block types. Just, oh my goodness, I am so excited. Guys, I did it again. I did the thing where I went into all building mode. It's mostly done at this point. So the island is almost completely done. We now have moved the portal from over in this direction over to here, over to there, and apparently I broke a peony. It's fine. We can place that back. So we've now got the portal over here. We have got all of these trees in. We have the magenta and the purple ones. I did think of going in towards like a pink gradient, but I thought it might be a little too light for the whole build. So we added in the peonies and the lilacs just to bring in the pink color overall. So we've got this little path leading up to the start of what is going to be the cocoa bean farm area inside. At the moment, I have yet to get to this part, which is fantastic for you guys because I might actually remember to build this part on the screen. But for the moment, this part's not done. But we actually do have to get something done right now. We are going to fly up to the top of this smokestack up here. Now, I saw something super duper cool over on the Pinterest that I wanted to add into this world. Someone had done a bunch of different colored smoke, and I want to do that. I might actually take out the campfires, but we're going to have like smoke drifting off into this direction. We're going to start with the purple, then go down to magenta, and then pink. But I'm going to jump into a time lapse so you guys can see this firsthand. BRB! Just like that, we have the smoke now billowing out the top of our chimney. I did actually end up taking out the campfires, so we've now added some stained glass in there instead, but I actually really like how the rest of this build has turned out. So let me do a bit of a walk around so I can show you all the different parts of this build. So at the moment, this is obviously the front of the build. I don't need to tell you guys that. But this is the front of the build. We end up having a balcony on the side of the build. That would be a space where the occupants of this building can come out and hang out on this balcony. At the back of the build, we have a really nice bay window and a small like little shed. I kind of feel like this is at the back, just somewhere where you may be putting some items or something like that at the end of a working day. And then finally on this side, we have like a Tudor style jut out, I would say is kind of the word for it, on this long side. So we have a little space up here for like an increased roof height. Tell me what that is. I have no idea. But we have this little thing here, and then we've got the Tudor style windows as well. I keep hitting all of the flowers and the grass. As you can see as well, we've bone mealed all the grass. We've added in a whole bunch of flowers, and we've even got some spore blossoms, allowing a little bit more of a magical feel here at the moment. But that isn't the only building I've been doing. We also ended up doing a heap of work over at the other space that we're working on earlier in the episode, so let me go show you guys that before we wrap up this episode. So I've had to put myself in free cam mode because this is just such a big build that it was kind of hard to do whilst flying over. So we got the 2 mosaics finished, but 1 on each side, and now we have the grass coming in. And for the moment, we have finished up in this area. We're going to be adding in a whole bunch of trees on the side here in these pots. They're composters, but we're going to call them pots. And we're also going to be adding up a whole lot of the first layer of the temple here. It is going to be a very, very big build. So I'm going to have to go ahead and spend hours upon hours upon hours of grinding for quartz. We are going to need a lot of this white block. We're going to have the first maybe 1 to 2 layers of this whole build be this massive quartz base, and then on top of that we're going to have the quartz towers with the awesome colors on top. So we're going to be adding in a bit of spice, if you guys know the TikTok meme, with this build where there's going to be a whole lot of colors being brought into the gradient. It has taken me over a week IRL building to get this done. It has taken such a long time, but I absolutely love it. We ended up getting the cactus farm done. We ended up getting all of this done and a whole new build done over at the Valentine's Day area. But I appreciate you guys sticking around to the very end of the episode. If you guys like this episode, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Maybe leave a comment down below if you guys liked the Valentine's Day area. And I'd really appreciate it, guys, if you hit the subscribe button to stick around and see what else happens in this world. But I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.